Hey guys, this is Ben. Welcome back to the channel. It is August. We are getting super close to the beginning of the fall festival season. So that means it's time for me to stop and update my 2023 Oscar predictions. Let's do it. But first, let me mention a couple of movies that have dropped off the list since the last time I made a prediction video. The big one being Killers of the Flower Moon, the new Martin Scorsese movie. That has dropped off. That has been confirmed to be coming out in 2023. Next Goal Wins. Again, this movie seems to keep getting delayed. I'm not so convinced it's ever going to come out, but that is not going to be coming out this year as well. And same with David Fincher's The Killer. All right, let's get into picture. Number one, I'm sticking with Babylon for now. I was tempted to put Everything Everywhere All at Once in number one, but I think I'm gonna stick with Babylon for now. Interestingly, this is like one of the only films, if not the only film on this list that's skipping the fall festivals. This is not gonna be at TIFF or Venice or anywhere. This is skipping all of the festivals. This one stays at number one, mainly because of my trust in Damien Chazelle. I just have faith in this movie. I have so much faith that this is gonna be an incredible movie. And obviously we've heard that it's a really great movie from the test screenings. The word masterpiece was thrown around. I do not take that lightly. Margot Robbie's obviously going to be a big player for Best Actress. I think that this is going to be a big technical contender as well when you consider that it's Damien Chazelle. It has a over $100 million budget. It's going to be a big, flashy, exciting Hollywood movie. It's a movie about Hollywood. I think it has all of the makings for a Best Picture winner, but who knows? This one's also rumored to be NC-17, which could be a bit of a hindrance for it, so we'll have to see about that. It's also said to be like a 3-hour long movie. I don't know if that's going to affect its chances at all. We shall see, but as of now, I'm going to put my trust in Damien Chazelle. Could also be my own personal bias, because this is easily my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. Okay, number two, I do have Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's kind of undeniable at this point that this is going to get nominated. The amount of passion that this movie has is just insane. This is a film that's going to be topping critics' lists of best of the year, I have no doubt. It's also proven to be a big success among audiences as it became A24's highest grossing movie of all time. That's a pretty big deal. So it's winning over critics, it's winning over audiences. It's like one of those once in a decade movies that kind of reinvents what is possible when it comes to movies. So I think for all of those reasons, it's gonna make it in. You could say it's a little bit of a weirder, kind of quirky movie, which is why I have it at number two and not winning right now. But the amount of passion it has is just undeniable. Number three, I have The Fabelmans. I became even more confident in this one after learning that it's gonna be premiering at TIFF, because no Steven Spielberg movie has premiered at TIFF before. So clearly they're pushing this one for awards. It's Steven Spielberg's Belfast. It's gonna be a very personal story. They're gonna wanna honor him. Test screenings have went very well. People are praising the movie. It's gonna get in. Number four, I have Women Talking. This one's interesting. I wasn't super confident in it before, but the more we've learned, now seeing that it's gonna be hitting all of the festivals, I've moved it up the list quite a bit. It's one of the big fall festival films. Apparently all of the festivals were kind of fighting for it, which one was gonna get the premiere. It has a really insane cast. You got Brad Pitt's production company, Plan B, producing here, and they have a very good track record with the Oscars. So for all those reasons, I think that this is a pretty sure bet. We don't have a lot to go off with this one, as we've only seen one still photo, but just the cast, the production company, and the fall festival push that this one is getting, I have no doubt this is gonna be like one of the most critically acclaimed movies of the year and will definitely make it into the top 10. At number six, I got Bardo, which is Alexander Iñárritu's newest movie. This is Netflix's big awards push for the year. Again, we haven't seen a lot from this movie. We just know it's a very personal story, kind of like The Fabelmans, kind of like Belfast for Alexander Iñárritu, and he's a big Oscar darling at this point. He's got in for his past couple of movies. And then at number six, I have The Son, which is Florian Zeller's new movie. Another film based on one of his plays, this time starring Hugh Jackman, Vanessa Kirby, Laura Dern. And this one is actually the more critically acclaimed one of his plays, even more so than The Father. So I'm sure that it's gonna be a big performance showcase, as we'll talk about in a little bit. Again, this is one that's hitting all of the fall festivals, so it's a very easy bet. Number seven, Top Gun Maverick. Yes, Top Gun Maverick has made it onto my list. It came out of nowhere. I was not predicting this film to be an Oscar contender at the beginning of the year. I did not think that was gonna happen at all, but at this point, it's looking like it could happen. It's looking like it will happen. Top Gun Maverick is the highest grossing movie of the year, by far, made over $1.4 billion. It's a phenomenon. And obviously, audiences are in love with this movie. Critics are in love with this movie. This is another one that I think is going to make it onto critics' top 10 of the year at the end of the year. I think this one is going to have the staying power to make it into the Oscar season, into the award season. I think this one's going to be a big player when it comes to the technical categories, and I think it could easily make its way into the 10, especially now that we have a set 10. At number 8, I have Empire of Light. This one is a little bit lower on the list only because of some of what we've heard from test screenings that it's maybe not as big of a contender as we may be thinking. But you got Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins teaming up again with Olivia Colman starring, and apparently she gives another fantastic performance. Are we surprised? Strangely, I feel like this is one that could slip out of the 10 at the end of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't end up making the 10, but we'll see. I don't know. At number 9, I have Avatar 2. I am putting my faith in James Cameron. Do not doubt James Cameron. He has had over 10 years to work on this sequel, over 10 years of technical advancements to work with. So I have no doubt that he's just gonna blow everyone away. He is not going to just release a little Avatar sequel that is, it's a decent continuation of the original, brings us back into the world. I'm sure that this is just gonna be a breathtaking, technical masterpiece of a movie. I feel like this is gonna be a massive, massive hit when it comes to audiences, critics, the box office, and it's coming out right at the end of the year, so I think it could ride that wave of passion into the Oscars. And then at number 10, I'm gonna put She Said. This is obviously the dramatic retelling of the whole Me Too situation with Harvey Weinstein. It's a very relevant story, especially in Hollywood. So I'm not feeling super confident in it, especially after seeing the trailer. But because of how relevant the story is, and I'm sure we're gonna get some great performances in it as well, I think it could make its way into the 10, though I wouldn't be surprised if it slips out. At number 11, I have The Whale. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that this is going to be a bit more of a performance showcase for Brendan Fraser than it will be a picture contender. I'm not sure why. I think it's gonna be a more small scale, less flashy film. And I don't know if it's gonna have what it needs to make it into picture. 12, Triangle of Sadness. This is one that was buzzed about coming out of Cannes. It's a bit of a quirky comedy kind of movie, which makes me doubt it a little bit. But, a lot of people are loving this movie. A lot of people who've seen this movie said watch out for it come awards season. So I'm not gonna doubt it. I'll put it at number 12. Number 13, I put Black Panther 2. I never would have thought that I would have Black Panther this high, but after that trailer, that phenomenal trailer, I think it could happen. If this movie is as good or better than the first, I think it has a good shot at actually making it into picture, which is something I never thought I would say. I think it's gonna be a very emotional film, one that really impacts a lot of people, and I put my faith in Ryan Coogler. I think that he is going to deliver another fantastic Black Panther movie. And again, I think it helps that this is coming out in November in the awards season. At number 14, I have Glass Onion, aka Knives Out 2. Yes, this is a sequel to a genre film, and the original Knives Out didn't get nominated, though you could argue that if it were a set 10, that it would have got nominated. So for those reasons, it's not super high on my list. But there's some buzz going around that this one is potentially even better than the first. So we could see a screenplay nom here. Janelle Monáe is getting a lot of buzz for her performance. So we could see a supporting actress nom, a screenplay nom, and who knows, maybe it can make its way into picture. I don't know. I'd love to see it. And then number 14, I have The Banshees of Inisherin, which is Martin McDonald? What's his name? His new movie starring Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. So this one actually is kind of hitting all of the fall festivals. Because of that, it's rose up my list quite a bit. I think it has potential in screenplay. I think Colin Farrell could get a nomination. Though nothing about the trailer or the plot really screams Oscar contender to me. I don't know why. At number 16, I got Tar, which is the new Todd Field film. I just feel like this is going to be more of an artsy performance showcase. I think Cate Blanchett could easily get in, as I'll talk about soon. Amsterdam, I have at number 17. I was actually one of the few kind of betting on this movie. People were doubting this movie, saying that it was going to get absolutely nothing. But I thought that considering the cast, considering that you do have David O. Russell, even considering the controversy, that this could make its way in. But I've started to doubt it more and more and more after the trailer didn't look amazing, and it seems like they're kind of releasing this one under the radar. They just moved it to an October release date. It's not going to any of the festivals. I feel like this movie is just gonna kind of come and go and not really make much of an impact. And then at number 18, I have White Noise, which is Noah Baumbach's new movie. From what we've heard about this movie, this is a more weird, kind of out there, has some science fiction elements to it. Will that hit with the Oscars? I'm not too sure. Number 19, The Greatest Bureau Ever, which had its first trailer drop. I thought the trailer looked great, but nothing about that trailer made me believe in it when it came to its Oscar chances. I'm sure that'll be a fun movie. I just don't know if it's gonna have the relevancy to make it into Best Picture. Though, if it ends up like winning the TIFF People's Choice Awards or something like that, then I'll have to reconsider that. And then lastly, at number 20, I have Don't Worry Darling. I'm really excited for this movie. I think that this film is gonna be a little bit weird, and I'm not sure if it's really gonna land with everybody. Okay, moving on to director. At number 1, I have Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans. This just makes sense to me. I think that Steven Spielberg directing a like semi-autobiographical movie about his life could be an easy one for them to want to recognize him for. I don't think it's gonna have the most flashy direction in the lineup, even compared to some of these other ones, but I think that personal element, the personal element that Steven Spielberg has, will potentially put him over the top and have him win. And then number 2, I have Damien Chazelle for Babylon. Obviously, if I think it has a shot of winning picture, he's gonna be high up when it comes to director. But Damien Chazelle is just one of the best directors working today, and he always brings it. He's always doing interesting things when it comes to direction. He's a masterful director, so I think he'll be up there as well. And then number 3, I have Alexander Iñárritu for Bardo. He won for the last 2 films he did. He won 2 in a row. And he's always doing super interesting things when it comes to direction. I've no doubt that he's gonna do the same with Bardo. And then at number 4, I have the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that the Daniels kind of gotta go along with Everything Everywhere All at Once in picture. That same passion that's gonna bring Everything Everywhere All at Once into the picture lineup will bring the Daniels into the director lineup. And then at number 5, I have Sarah Polley for Women Talking. You know, you got a lot of big actresses you're working with here. She's also the one woman in the lineup. I know that that doesn't always really make a difference, but I think that they're gonna wanna recognize her. At number 6, I have James Cameron for Avatar, The Way of Water. If Avatar is a big picture contender, if it's a huge technical contender, he could get in for director. Though you could say that the super impressive big technical contender from last year was Denis Villeneuve, and he didn't get nominated, but I don't know. Maybe they'll want to make up for that. And then at number 7, I have Florian Zeller for The Sun. This one's just a little bit lower because, again, I feel like it's going to be less of a flashy film when it comes to its direction, but more so focused on its performances and script. So I think he could miss out because of that. He didn't get a nomination for The Father either. I think we could be kind of having the same situation here. And then down at number 10, I have Park Chan-wook for Decision to Leave. They oftentimes have a international director in the lineup. Obviously, Alexander Iñárritu is an international director in the lineup, but maybe Park Chan-wook makes his way in as well. Let's move on to actress. Number 1, I got Margot Robbie. I believe the hype. I think she's gonna be incredible in this movie. Obviously, we've heard from the test screenings that she is incredible in this movie. She's the standout. She's gonna be nominated, and I believe she could win. At number 2, I got Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. There is a lot of passion for her as well. People want to see her get nominated. This one also has the narrative behind it that it's kind of like the encapsulation of her entire career. She's been working her entire career for this one role that uses all of her talents. And I do think that Everything Everywhere at Once is going to be a crazy contender across the board. And Michelle Yeoh would easily go along with that. And then at number 3, I have Olivia Colman, which if she gets nominated for this, it would be like her 3rd nomination in 6 years or something like that, which is insane. But the one thing that we've heard, the big thing we've heard from Empire of Light when it comes to its test screenings is watch out for Olivia Colman. She's incredible. And you know, we can't doubt Olivia Colman at this point. She is an Oscar darling at this point. Number 4, I have Naomi Aki. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. For I Want to Dance with Somebody, that classic biopic nomination. You know, we get those like every year, and I think this is gonna be the one for this year. It's coming out right in the middle of the award season. I think it comes out at the end of December. Obviously, we haven't seen a trailer or anything from this, but she's gonna be front and center in this movie, and I'm sure she's gonna be great. And then at number 5, I have Cate Blanchett for Tar. Like I said, I think Tar is gonna be a big performance showcase first and foremost for Cate Blanchett. She's an incredible actress. She's incredible in everything she's in. I have no doubt she's gonna be great in here as well. And then number 6, a bit of a controversial pick. I have Ana de Armas for Blonde. So this movie has a lot of controversy behind it, which is why it's not high up on my list for anything else, even though I think the trailer looks pretty good. But it's Ana de Armas playing Marilyn Monroe. She's a huge actress in Hollywood right now, playing an icon. And even if the movie has some controversy behind it, I still think there's a way that she could be the lone nomination for Blonde. I have Carey Mulligan here at number 9. Nothing from the trailer really screams Best Actress to me, but if she says does make it into the 10, maybe I should be betting on her getting in as well. All right, let's move on to actor, where it seems like we have a race between Hugh Jackman and Brendan Fraser for now. Who knows if that's actually gonna end up being true, but I think it's gonna be between them two. And I'm betting on Hugh Jackman for now. For now, I'm gonna bet on Hugh Jackman. I just feel like it's his time. It's one of those years where it feels like it is time to recognize Hugh Jackman for all he's done in Hollywood with this performance. And obviously he has a huge role in The Son, a very important role. And from everybody who's seen the play, they say that he's like the standout performance. And then at number 2, I have Brendan Fraser for The Whale. What makes me want to put this at number 1 is the makeup. The Oscars love it when you are unrecognizable in your role. The reason I have this at number 2 and I put Hugh Jackman at number 1 is just that I think The Son is gonna be a much bigger contender overall. Because of that, maybe Brendan Fraser won't end up winning, though he is caked in makeup. He's playing like a 600-pound guy, and he's like the star of this movie. This movie's all gonna be focused around him. It's like a very much a character study on him. So yeah, and it's like his comeback. Like we're in the Brendan Fraser sauce, what are we calling it? The Fraser sauce, I forget what people are calling it. Number 3, I got Austin Butler for Elvis. This is just like one of the most buzzed about performances of the year so far. Maybe the most buzzed about lead performance of the year thus far. And I think that even though it's a June release, it can easily carry that buzz all the way until the award season. Even if Elvis doesn't get any other nominations, Austin Butler, I think, is pretty much a lock to get in. And then at number 4, I have Diego Calva for Babylon, a bit of an unknown actor, though he's the lead in Babylon, the new Damien Chazelle movie. So just for that reason alone, he's in my top 5. And then at number 5, I have Daniel Gimez Cacho. I'm very sorry for pronouncing that wrong. For Bardo, I think Bardo's got to get a performance nomination, so maybe it's this one. Then at number 6, I have Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin. He's kind of having a year this year, you know, with The Batman and 13 Lives and now this film. And I think that even though I don't think that The Banshees of Inisherin is going to be a big contender overall, I think that Colin Farrell could be one of the few nominations that this film gets. Apparently he's a standout. Bill Knightley in Living. This was a film that premiered back at Sundance, and when it comes to this movie, the big buzzed about thing was his performance. Christian Bale for Amsterdam. I don't really think that's gonna happen, but if Amsterdam does end up being a thing, then I think he could get nominated. And then Sang Kang-ho for Broker, Adam Driver for White Noise. I don't know. If those movies end up being bigger contenders, then maybe. Supporting actress, I got Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans winning. Again, this just feels like it's Michelle Williams' time to win the Oscar. She is being talked about as the standout of this movie from the test screening. So that kind of reaffirmed my thoughts on her being the one to win supporting actress. Number 2, I got Vanessa Kirby for The Son. Everything we know about The Son, Vanessa Kirby seems to be the one over the character that Laura Dern is playing to get nominated. Number 3, I have Jessie Buckley for Women Talking. It really could be any one of the actresses in this movie. Again, it's a very stacked lineup, and we don't really know who's gonna be the big standout, but it seems like everybody's kind of betting on Jessie Buckley for now, so I'll go along with it. And then at number 4, Sadie Sink for The Whale. I don't know how I feel about this one. You know, her being a young actress, it's harder for younger actresses and actors to get nominated, but she's apparently like the standout supporting performance in this movie aside from Brendan Gleeson. And you know, this being a more focused, smaller scale, performance centric film, I think that she's gonna have a lot to do here, a lot to work with, and I don't really know what else to put above her. So for now, I'm gonna put her in here. And then number 5, I have Stephanie Hugh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think her getting in will kind of depend on how much passion this film really has. If it really is that movie that people are just above and beyond on, over the moon about, then she could definitely go along with it. But I think if somebody's gonna miss out on getting a nomination, it might be her. And then number 6, I have Grisella Solani for Bardo. And you know, again, Inarritu films get performance nominations. Will she also get one? We shall see. Janelle Monáe for Glass Onion is an interesting one. We've heard that she is the standout in this movie and that she gives an incredible performance, and I think that if Glass Onion does end up being a bigger contender, if it somehow makes it into that 10, she could easily go along with it. I think that she could even get in even if Glass Onion doesn't end up being a picture contender, if she is really as great as people are saying. Laura Dern, maybe she is the bigger standout in The Sun. Who knows? Maybe they switch things out. Jean Smart, Babylon. We don't really know a lot about her character, who she's playing, how big of a role she's going to have, but maybe she'll go along with Babylon if it gets a ton of nominations. And Zoe Kazan, if she said it ends up being a thing. Supporting actor, we got Ke Quan Kwan at number 1 for Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's got the narrative behind him. He's just so good in this movie. He was like the most buzzed about performance coming out of this movie. He's definitely getting nominated, and right now I don't know who else I would give the win to. So he's at number 1 for now, but I could see him dwindling from that spot. Brad Pitt for Babylon. I don't really need to say anything about that. You know, it's Brad Pitt in what's sure to be one of the biggest films of the year, so he'll definitely get in. And then Paul Dano for The Fabelmans. People are saying maybe Seth Rogen, but I'm gonna put Paul Dano in here. It feels like it's his time to finally get a nomination. So if he's good in this thing, I think that he might get the nomination over Seth Rogen. Michael Ward from Empire of Light. The test screenings also said that he's very good in this movie, that, you know, this movie is very much him and Olivia Colman, and it's very much focused on their performances. So I think he could easily also be in the mix here. And then Zen McGrath for The Sun. Apparently, aside from Hugh Jackman's character, he is the other big standout performance when it comes to the play. He's a newcomer, he's a young actor. That makes me doubt it a little bit, but he's the standout, apparently. Ben Whishaw could also get into this 5 for Women Talking. He's kind of like the only man in this movie. He's a little bit of the narrator. I don't know if he's gonna have a lot to do though in this movie. Russell Crowe, if Grace Buron ever becomes a thing, maybe he'll get in. I don't know, who knows? All right, let's move on to original screenplay, where I have Babylon. Obviously, if I have Babylon winning picture, screenplays kind of got to go along with that, and we've heard very good things about the script. The Fabelmans at number 2, again, a big picture contender, and I have a feeling that this is going to be a less like big scale Spielberg film and a much more contained, focused drama with a great script. I think that this one is going to really lean on its script and performances, so maybe it could even win. And then Everything Everywhere All at Once at number 3. Obviously, this one could end up winning too if you know, it has that passion behind it. And I don't know, I just feel like the script in this movie isn't really as much the standout in comparison to some other elements. It's a bit weird, it's a bit quirky, that could hold it back. Bardo at number 4 and Empire of Light at number 5. Again, these are all just kind of based on whether or not I think they're gonna make into picture. Triangle of Sadness, I got at number 6, right outside of the top 5, just because I don't think it's gonna end up making it into picture at the end of the day. Though if it only gets like a couple nominations or only one nomination, maybe screenplay is that one lone nomination that it gets. I could easily see that happening. Tar, number 8, Decision to Leave, maybe if Don't Worry Darling is really good, it could get into. Who knows? I doubt it. Adapted screenplay, number 1, I got Women Talking. It's in the name. You got talking in the name, so the script is gonna be is gonna be good, right? It's gotta be. But really, I just think that this has the biggest chance just because of how much of a chance I think it has in picture. You know how it goes. And then The Son, I have number 2. This is the other one I could easily see winning, though Florian Zeller just won for The Father. I don't know if that really makes a difference at all. Number 4, I have She Said. Again, I do think that even if She Said doesn't end up being a big player, that script is one, the adapted screenplay is one nomination it could get. And as it seems to be very reliant on its screenplay, less so its technical elements. And then Glass Onion, number 5, I'm just gonna do it. The first Knives Out got a nomination. If this one is just as good, I think it could get in 2. These movies have really tight, clever scripts, so I think it could get in. Greatest Beer Whenever, White Noise, obviously those depend on if those end up being buzzed about movies at all. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, I did sneak in at number 10, even though I do think that even if Black Panther does get a Best Picture nomination, I doubt it would get adapted screenplay, but who knows? Are we really gonna get Black Panther, Avatar, and Top Gun nominated for Best Picture? I don't know. I don't feel great about that. I think one of those is gonna slip, but I think we could get 2 of them. It'd be crazy if we got all 3. 3 big blockbusters? That doesn't feel right. I don't think that's gonna happen. Anyways, that's it for my August predictions for the 2023 Oscars. This is kind of the last predictions before things start to happen, before we start getting the consensus on a lot of these movies, before we learn if these films are really the big contenders that we think they are. So let me know down in the comments section below what your predictions are as of this moment. Do you agree with my predictions? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. As always, make sure you like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, and turn that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the videos I make here on the channel. Also, I've been making a lot of videos recently over on I Crave Network. It's an incredible channel that I've gotten a chance to be a part of, where I do box office videos, movie reviews, all sorts of fun stuff. So make sure you check out that channel and subscribe to it as well. All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.